What's up, baby? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Rundown. I'm your host, as always, Drew Johnson. If you're new to the show, make sure you follow me here at Real News 102. And make sure you're checking out the new page for The Rundown at The Rundown 102. I mean, nice and simple, 102 for y'all. But appreciate everybody that's been tapping into the show, supporting the show. It starts with you guys' support, man. And as always, I'm going to have the fire guests. I'm going to have the good topics. That's going to continue, man. But the more you guys support, the more this thing can grow, man. So hit that like button, hit that share button. I appreciate it all. But I got a good show for you guys tonight. If you missed the last episode, it was real good too. I was on there solo, you know what I mean? Breaking down some quarterbacks to know, previewing some stuff going around the city. But tonight's a special episode, man. We're doing a behind the playbook type thing. And I got the GOAT on. But before I give you guys a preview of that, let's give a shout out to our sponsors, man. Of course, right? Got to start off with the man. Larry's in the background. My guy, if you haven't got one of these to Larry yet, tighten up, man. Shouts out to Lance, but he needs a pack of these, or I'm going to get him one. Next time I see him, he'll have a pack. But shouts out to Lance over at Taste One Boiled Peanuts. From my Boiled Peanut family, man. Hit me up for these, man. I'm trying to get these in some of y'all hands. I did a giveaway on my last show for sure. Shouts out to young man Mikael King and Ladarius Simmons. So they'll be having some of these products in their hands. Shouts out to the D2O family as always. D2O got our spring water and our black water. We'll have them try these out for you guys. My D2O family and the Quench Hydration, man. I'm loving these things, man. Shouts out to Quench. Hook me up with a care package. We're trying to do some more things with Quench, man. I like their products. And last but not least, for you workout guys, man, if you can't see it, man, I got some little muscles behind this T-shirt. Don't let it fool you. Don't let me take off the shirt, you know what I mean? But shouts out to Spoken Nutrition, you know what I mean? They hooked me up with some creatine and some products like that from our workout family, you know what I mean? NSF approved, so it ain't none of that stuff that's going to get you guys in trouble. So hit me up from a workout fam. But all right, man, let's go ahead and give you guys a preview. Shouts out to our sponsors. Definitely going to get some products in our giveaway winner hands, but preview for the show tonight, guys. The legend himself always got a seat on this show, and that's Larry Blustein. He's been on the road nonstop this spring, man, visiting schools and camps across the state. We'll get the inside scoop from Larry, talk about some of the programs that impress him the most, some underrated athletes that you need to know, give them the spotlight, and talk about what goes into the ranking process. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out Prep Red Zone Florida. Rankings are out now, you know what I mean? And we're putting out content every day, right? Boots on the ground is what we're about. But Larry ended off with some advice for you players and coaches on how to finish strong in this recruiting window, man, from the spring to the summer, right before that fall period. You should be doing all it takes to help yourself get on some of these coaches' radars. But next up, man, we'll have a second guest. Big time, man. I love these type of guests, and that's behind the playbook with some of our head coaches around the state that deserve the spotlight, man. We do a great job spotlighting student athletes, but it starts with some of these head coaches who are more than head coaches, mentors, tax chefs. You know what I mean? It goes into it. These Florida coaches deserve the spotlight. So we got a heavyweight one on. One of the better ones in the Central Florida area, this program, they're always churning out D1 talent. And that's Seminole, the Bokey boys, with head coach Carl Calhoun. You know what I mean? Finished off 10-2 last year. But they're looking to reload. It'll be a new look that we'll break down and get into. But we'll talk about the spring period, some key returners stepping up, and how Coach Calhoun and staff is building that culture and character of discipline and accountability over at Bokey that produces the D1 talent. You know what I mean? They don't just wake up out of the bed. So a lot goes into it. But I'm glad to have my brother on. We've been trying to get it done here for some time now. But my brother's waiting on me, Larry Blustein. Let's bring him on, you know what I mean? Always a seat on this show. He's been around everywhere. Let's have him on, guys. Let's welcome to the show. My brother, how's it going, Larry?
I need some of those boiled peanuts, man. I've been
Hey, man, come on, Lance. Get them right. Next time I see you, though, I got you. I'll get you 2 or 3 of them for sure. But hold on, brother. Before I get you – Go ahead. Before I let you go in, let's take a second. Hold on. I got to salute you. If you don't do it, if y'all don't do it, I will. Let's salute, you know what I mean, a legend in the game. That's Larry Blustein. If you're in the high school football world and you don't know Blue, I don't know if you're really in it. And he doesn't like to give himself, you know what I mean, the credit, but I'm going to do it. Since the start of spring, my brother's been everywhere. high school practices, spring games, college camps, showcases. Been through it all, tweeting out athletes' GPA, film, measurables, giving exposure to players and programs that doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't know too many that does in this game, you know what I mean? So he's truly in it for the right reasons, and nobody does it quite like him. So much respect to my brother, you know what I mean, before I let him roll in. But Larry, let's get into it. How's the road been treating you, man? You've been nonstop since the spring kicked off. Talk about some of the places you've been to, some of the areas that's impressed you, brother.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you having me. It has been, I mean, we're on the 17th of June, and, you're talking from when we began back in April, at the end of April for spring. Had an opportunity to go up to the Jacksonville area and see some of the programs up there, lay eyes on the defending state runner-up in 4A, Jacksonville Reigns, who's still going to be, really, really good. Bowls, a program that I think is in 2A, it'll come down up north between them and Gadsden County, and Gadsden, lost like about 13 kids, but also gained some pretty good guys. They bring back Landon Dowdy, the quarterback, the big 6'6" kid, who did pretty good. Had an opportunity to see Jacksonville Trinity Christian, and I was, I'll tell you, Drew, I was more impressed with them in a losing effort last year against Chaminade Madonna in a state semifinals. Yeah, only because of the fact that they had two seniors in the entire starting lineup, and it came down to basically one play to turn the game around. I'm not saying that they would have beat them, but this was a program that I was really high on. I had an opportunity to see him again this spring, ran into him at the University of Florida. I ran into him at FSU. I was really impressed. Some of the teams like from last year that really kind of came out of nowhere, Ponte Vedra, a program that finished 9-2. A lot of people didn't know much about Nice, another team that had an opportunity to do some pretty good. St. Augustine still has the dudes, they're going to get 2-3 rounds deep every year into the playoffs. And then when I went over to FSU, I had a chance to see some the Panhandle teams. Pace, a team that only lost twice last year, may have the best offensive line.
Pace.
Anchored by the kid Wise, who's going to Clemson. But they're going to be loaded up. And that's the one thing, during the spring, I had an opportunity to go to different, schools and check out their practices, up and down the coast. I went to, DeLand, and I went to Daytona Mainland, which I would see later on in their spring jamboree. Coach Squatty Bell came all the way down. They're going to be much improved. They got some cats. I'm telling you, they got a lot of good athletes on the team. They're well coached. As I said, the Derek King, a linebacker, who's I think one of the underexposed kids, and that's the one thing. And I think I probably have a written thing that I tell parents now. But when I see them during the spring and they ask me all these questions, I said, well. Or the summer. And I said, well, this is why when I make come up with a list or teams or whatever, that there's more validity to it than somebody who sits at home behind a computer and just watches film, because you can't tell a lot of the stuff. You can't tell the character of a kid. You can't tell a lot, what type of teammate they are. All you ever see in highlight films are highlights. You don't see lowlights, and you got to see these kids. In every Larry. Well, Drew, football is a game of pluses and minuses, and if you can't see a kid fail, then you don't see him play. So I want to see a kid. I don't want to see a kid run for 300 yards. I want to see him fumble the ball. I want to see what he does when he drops the ball. And I had that opportunity.
That's the film evaluation, Larry. You want to see the best 3 games, but what'd you look like in a bad 3 games? You know what I mean? 100%. How coachable are you when things are going wrong? That's very important. And you don't get that unless you get in-person evaluation.
You get to the sideline and start throwing your helmet all over and start cursing everybody. That to me is a lot. The character part of this game is everything, and you can't tell that from sitting behind a computer and watching film. I've had an opportunity to, chop it up with these kids just on the sideline, during practice, and have a heart to heart with them and just say, hey, listen, this is a process. I've been through this. I'm an OG, but the whole thing is I've never left this game. And ever since I was like, 15, 16, 17, I've been doing this. So nothing's really, the only thing that's changed to me are the faces. The game has pretty much stayed the same throughout the years. The objective is pretty much the same. I mean, you do things to impress. I know what college coaches look at. And today it's so much tougher, Drew, because of the fact that you have the portal, you have the NIL, you have the ability to kind of go one place for 1 year and then go to another in the next year. And there's no job security anymore. Every year, and I tell these parents, I don't care if your kid runs a 4.4. I don't care, but if he doesn't fit the program, he'll be looking every year. So, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. I had an opportunity to see the entire Space Coast area, went to Melbourne, went to O'Galley, saw a really good football team. And these are during the spring, and obviously South Florida. I had an opportunity to see basically everybody in South Florida and Palm Beach. I really spent more time in the Palm Beaches during the spring. I went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would go to the 6-team games. See, to me, when you have an inter squad game or you have one team against another, you really don't see a lot. But if you go to 6 teams like I did, I went up to Park Vista, which is up in Lake Worth, and got a chance to see Jupiter and had a chance to see Garcia and schools like that you normally wouldn't see. So every day during the spring when they had, like games, I would go there. I would go, so the practices are nice, but the games are really good. And the summer's been really productive because I hit the ball running back at the end of May before June even came. Kaiser University had a Friday Night Lights, 230 kids from all over. Got a chance to see the kid Hartman, who just transferred back from Merritt Island to Vieira. Really good athlete, quarterback, receiver type kid. So you get a chance to see those type of players. The entire Okeechobee team came down. Clewiston came down. So you get an opportunity to see these programs like Lake Placid and Sebring and middle of the area, Avon Park. Up US 27 towards Polk County. And, you normally don't get a chance to see that. But I went to University of Miami twice. I went to FIU twice. I went to FAU twice. I've been to Kaiser 3 times. This coming Friday, I'll be there for a 4th time because they have the only padded camp in the state. That means you go full go right in the middle of the summer. You're fully padded up. Yeah, I mean, you knock some butts, and then you don't get a chance to do that at NCAA member schools anymore. They had a time when UCF used to do it, and also FAU, but they don't allow that anymore. But NAIA throws the caution to the wind, and they don't care. And you're going to see a lot of good programs there. At Miami, I got a chance to see the line camps. Also 7-on-7, same thing at FAU, where I'll be again tomorrow to catch a couple of other programs. Like teams come down for that, excuse me. Teams come down for those events because they like to compete. Last week I was at USF. I know you'll be coming up there as well for their next event. The only negative about USF is they're building the stadium. Cleared all the football fields out of the way, so they hold the offensive and defensive line camp in the indoor, but they hold the 7-on-7 all the way across campus. So you kind of dig in. There's hardly any parking, so you got to get there early. And there were some really good programs. I got a chance to see, like Tampa Plant was there, and Armwood was there. And, laid eyes on a lot of the, teams from the West area, obviously, and you get a lot of Polk County teams that want to kind of dig in. Auburndale, they, those type of teams want to compete. No knock on Lake Wales was there. Had a chance to talked to Coach Johnson for a while, and
Yeah.
and Chad Williams, who's their quarterback, and chopped it up a little bit with his dad. Talking about how he's going to fit in and how that program's going to fit in, because I mean, for them to have any success, they have to beat Orlando Jones. It's plain and simple. It's their district. So it's but we talked a little bit about that, had an opportunity to see a lot of the programs from that Tampa area who now come out, and back in the other regime before Coach Golish got there, I don't think the Tampa teams really supported the program as much, but now they do. And and the line camp especially, you had kids from Plantation American Heritage up there, and that shows a lot when you bring kids in, all the way up from Miami who just come up for the day. Remember, it's only a one day, 4 or 5 hour type of deal. So when they do that, that's a 400. I mean, that's a 4.5 hour sacrifice to make. So you get a chance to see that. When I was at University of Florida, you get an opportunity to see a lot of those Orlando area teams. The Gainesville, saw a couple of kids from Chiefland that came up for the camp. I think they're going to be a pretty good program. So that's the thing. You may see with the 7-on-7s about 250 different teams, which is a lot. Because, I mean, there's a lot of events that you go to that their stars weren't there. Last week, Shaman Amadana, who came up to USF, was without, Derek Cooper, who's probably one of the best players in the state, and a couple of other players, because they were on visits. And this is the time of year, Drew, that they all go on visits. And as you mentioned, we came out with our 2027 initial list. And I mean, it's pretty tough when you think about it, because I mean, we do at Prep Red Zone, we do an update every 2 months. So that means if you're a class, you get to be ranked 8 different times. 8 different times. And a lot of places will do one at the beginning and one at the end. And that's all they do. And,
let me ask you, brother, because as you talk about that, right? And for the people that's watching, from the parents to the players and even the people that follow along with high school ball, kind of talk about, walk us through what goes into that process when you talk about ranking a kid, evaluating these kids. How, what goes into it? Larry, it's a lot of them that you do, right? Very thoroughly, that you evaluate these kids and try to place them in the right place where they're supposed to be. But talk about what goes into that, brother.
Well, here's the thing that I wanted to point out. And no knock on Rivals or On3 or 24/7, but what they're out to do is they're out to sell their subscriptions. And their subscriptions won't sell if you keep offering up a bunch of no stars or 1-star kids. They're after all the 5-4 type of star kids. So that means there's about 80 or 90 players that they really look at. And they don't normally just look at them at games. They see them through camps and all that, which is fine. You have to see them some ways. But what we do, and when we update our 2026 list in August, and probably next month or at the end of July or whatever, we will have 1,250 kids ranked. Come on. I mean, and still we're missing a ton, but the state of Florida has so many kids, and you can only watch so many, but that's what I'm saying. So to me.
And are you ranking these kids from watching them on the computer, or are these kids that you've seen in person?
Initially, it's from the computer, but remember, I see these kids that, like this 2027 class, which will be juniors. I saw them when they were incoming freshmen. So I started watching all these guys, like I'm looking at 28, 29s now, and even 30 kids who are in 8th grade, because there's a lot of schools that have K through 12. So they use 8th graders in their mix. So I'm looking at all these guys. So if I go to a camp and I'll see like Jackson Stecker. Here's a perfect kid. I mean, he's a 2028 quarterback, but he arrived on the scene 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Remember, he played as a 7th grader in Oviedo at the Masters Academy. He's now in the 9th grade at Lake Brantley.
Right.
But I'm saying we laid eyes on him early in the process. Landon Holly. You know, I mean, we laid eyes on him, you know, early in the process. And that's the one thing, too. Like this last camp that we had, the kid Drew Sapp, who was at Lake Gibson and now is at Lakeland. And, you know, he really hasn't officially played a game for Lakeland during the regular season. So it's really tough to get a barometer on him. He's had a great offseason. You've watched him a ton. He's a really good kid, very supportive family. But at the same time, is it fair to put him in the top 15 or 20 when he really hasn't played a game with the team that he's at?
Right.
And, you know, I mean, that's why I'm saying that people talk about the season. The season's really short, Drew. It's the off season where the productivity is because if you don't make the playoffs, you're off from November all the way to August.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's a long time. That's 10
what
months.
goes into it, right? And shouts out to my guy Mark Henry in Texas. He's with Prep Red Zone as well. But we see you guys from January to April in the offseason with these 7v7 scraps and everything like that. Then we see you in the spring with your teammates, right? Then we see you in the summer at these summer camps, college camps. And then we see you in fall. That's a full circle picture that we have. But it's going to start with you dominating in the fall to get on the radar. And then you have to put the work in the offseason. And then we see the film, which will come in a complete picture, right? But you have to dominate on Friday nights first.
100%. And, you know, Drew, here's the thing that really always gets me is that, you know, people shine in T-shirts and the shorts, and which is nice. It shows a lot of athleticism.
7v7 Warriors.
But you're never going to get a scholarship for 7-on-7. You're just not.
It's going to be tough.
People go,
you get on radars, you know what I mean? You can do what you could do.
100%.
Flat out scholarship without it, doing it on Friday nights, it's going to be tough, man. For a legit offer, Larry. You know how these offers can get, you know what I mean?
So the process is this. We start watching these young men. You know, that's why it's kind of tough and excuse me. Fighting this cough. But that's why we start the process. And it's awfully tough in this state because remember you have IMG, and IMG's 85% of their roster are kids from not here. They're from outside the state, and they get here pretty much in their senior year. So when we have our list, you know, because remember, most of the kids that play for IMG, you know, the elite team are elite kids. They're nationally rated. They have multiple major offers. So, I mean, since we do recognize them, and there have been a lot of people tell us you shouldn't even recognize them. You know, they're not from here. But you know what? They play a schedule that kind of is Florida based. So, you know, I mean, that's why I do it. I mean, and now Orlando, the first academy is going to be coming like that because they're pretty much, you know,
they're loaded, brother. Yeah.
But that's how we start the process. We see you early on. You know, we kind of write stuff down. So when we see you again, you know, I mean, prime example, a kid that I watched 2 years ago, two examples. Okay. One's 26, one's 27. I'll give you the 26 one first. There was an offensive lineman from Fort Myers named Joel Irvin. Okay. At the time, about 6'3", about 250, 255. Okay. I mean, showed some athleticism. Well, here it is. Fast forward. Right now, he's one of the elite linemen nationally. He's committed to Miami. 6'6", 300 pounds. Got great footwork, doing everything. So that's what I'm saying. So they elevate. The other one was a kid named Caden Henderson. 2 years ago at Tampa Jesuit. Good-looking kid. People projected him as a safety or maybe even a corner. And right now he sits at 6'2", 200 pounds.
He's a linebacker nickel.
Beast. He's a beast. And he's our number one kid for 2027 for a great reason. Playmaker. The guy's all over the field. Man. Great teammate in the spring game against Lakeland.
Live, Larry. I was impressed, man.
Yeah, you know, so that's, you know, for all of you listening, it's got to be production. I just can't take your film or see you at a Friday night little 7-on-7 or a camp and all of a sudden anoint you as the best player in the country. It's just not. It's not really feasible. And why would you, as a parent, want that? Why would you want me to rate you on something that happens on a 7-on-7? And most of our kids that were like last night on our radio show here, we had Kenton Dobson, the third from Miami. North.
Another kid, prep red zone.
Big. And he, here's a kid that as a freshman, he was a highly regarded freshman, came to our event in Orlando, drove all the way up with Kai, the quarterback from Miami, New Orleans, and they showed out, and both of them were freshmen. And that's why I said, so is it any reason to believe that he's not a great player? He played, arguably in a – look at the teams that he lined up against. He lined up against Northwestern. He lined up against Chaminade. He lined up against Cocoa. He lined up against Northwestern. I mean, come on. American Heritage Plantation, which won the 4A state title. So and that's legit. Why I say to people, hey, this is why when I say to people, people Miami. Yeah, but you play a tough schedule in Miami just to get out of Miami. Look at last year. It came down to Central Northwestern, and Northwestern lost the Central in the regular season. And I still feel if Central didn't, wasn't, ruled ineligible and had to forfeit all those games after the Lakeland game, they might have been the best team in the state at the end of the year. It's all about competition, and I think the teams in South Florida figured it out, St. Thomas, Chaminade, Heritage included, that in order for you to get any recognition nationally, Drew, you have to play that schedule.
You got to play that schedule.
Look at those
teams. Look around, Larry. Look around at some of these teams. Look at Coach Peacock, them Venice boys.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And a few other. They beefing up the schedule a little bit, right?
1,000,000,000%. And that's I have, when you're a public school, it's not so easy. Okay. The private schools get a little more leeway. And can, with recruiting and such. But when you have a team like Venice, when you have a team like Northwestern, because I know everybody goes, well, Northwestern, but Northwestern still within 18 blocks of them is Central. Within 15 blocks of them is Booker T. Washington. They're right down the block from Miami Edison. They're right up the block from Norland and Carroll City. So within a 5-mile radius, they have all those teams. So for them, they come away with, and those are public schools.
I see.
And that's why you got to give those schools props. Not to take anything away from. I'm not taking anything away from Chaminade or St. Thomas. And, to win as much as they have. Listen, St. Thomas, if Chaminade goes to state this year, it'll be 9 years in a row, 9 years in a row that they've been to state. St. Thomas has won 6 consecutive state championships.
Man.
And so you've got to look at those teams, and now
who does Chaminade play every year, right? CCC, right? Or who is that? That's Chaminade.
I'm sure Coach Harvey doesn't want to hear Chaminade's name. Right?
I like those CCC boys, man. I just like, damn, they cannot. It's got to get over the hump, man. Dang.
But now you have in that mix, you have Cardinal Newman in Palm Beach, who's really good. They only lost by a couple of points. And then you have True North, which is a program, and then Edison, who's gone on their national recruiting tour. They went and got
your boy, right? Who will have on
next? Got Clayton, the quarterback from Sanford. Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up.
I'm gonna have to, brother. It's journalism. I'm gonna have to. I got to.
But they have him. They have the kid Xavier Payne, the big offensive lineman that came from Orlando.
I've been seeing him on social media, brother.
And then they got Amari Stevens, who scored a touchdown in the state championship game from South.
Edison's
he's at Edison now.
So when to go all the way up to the Orlando area to grab Clayton, you got to be. They had to have some type of
and plan, Xavier Payne. Both of them came down.
Man, really quick, Larry, chime in on your rankings talk real quick, man. For you 27s and you 28s, just talking to the parents, right? Just keep chopping wood, right? Control what you can control. Throughout all the smoke, move it out all the way. Rankings are rankings, right? And it can be anything, right? But just control what you can control. The classroom, the weight room, your conditioning, your speed training. and your personal training, right? Control those things and go perform on the football field, and then worry about all the bells and whistles. Then worry about the rankings and stuff, right? Just focus on your high school career and focus on being the best person you can be on and off the field, and then worry about rankings and stuff like that, right? Because it'll come. It'll come.
Yeah, you couldn't have said that any better. And not only that, is when you're talking about your kid, talk about your kid. Don't boost him up by knocking another kid down. Don't say, well, my kid's 10 times better than him. Why?
Yep.
Why would you do that? Who cares? You know,
control the controllables, right? That's what I
100%. Don't go using another player as reference, because it's never going to work out for you, because everybody's going to hear you, and you're going to give the perception that your kid's not a good teammate because he's an individual player. College coaches, they listen, that's what they breed on. They have to have an excuse not to take you. And if you're that type of player and you're an individual, they don't want, I don't care if you have 30 sacks. If you're saying that you're so much better than the kid next to you and you're putting him down, what good is that? Why would you do that to a teammate anyway? You know what I mean?
It comes with education, even to the parents, you know what I mean? So just, you know what I mean, enjoy the recruiting process. And like I said, just help your kid out the best way, help him be the best young man he can be on and off the field. And college coaches will gravitate towards good people. So
100%.
Really,
and not only that, is that, remember, like with the 26 class, you know, it's going to change so much. Just in the last two rankings that we have. Now, this coming ranking, because remember, everything, this ranking that is going to encompass at the what happened during spring and what happened during summer. And then there's move-ins. There's the IMG move-ins. If you look at the 2026 rankings on our website now, I mean, you'll see some, I mean, you know, there's some really good guys, obviously, that belong there. But there's going to be some moving around, and there was some moving around. Not only that, Drew, but there was some moving around, you know, like from school to school. I mean, you know, and then when you look,
every 2 to 3 months, these kids can look out and parents can look out for an update. There will be movements across before the fall even starts. I'm sure there will be a lot more movement going on.
100%, 100%.
We love our parents. That's the one thing, right, Larry? We enjoy the parents, right? You know what I mean? I love my parents. I love helping you guys through the process, helping you guys through the recruiting process and all, just the social media aspect. So don't let it think that. It starts with the parents, man. But for sure, just enjoy the recruiting process. And if you ever need some, you know, some insight, hit us up. And then we, you know what I mean? It's not a problem for us to explain to you what goes into the process. But I had Larry on himself, so I wanted to have him share it for you guys.
Yeah, so really, well, you say it. You said it right, and it's just like the teams. You know, I mean, you look like the opening games of the season this year. You have, you know, like you look at Chaminade Madonna. They play St. Francis of all.
Man, wow!
I mean, they're a beast. Yeah. You take a look at St. Thomas Aquinas. They play Mater Day. I mean, you know, come on. Does it get Northwestern?
You got to shout out to my. I know you don't want to shout out to my Dreadnoughts, dog. You keep skipping over Lakeland, bro. They played De La Salle this year, you know what I mean? They got California coming to the, you know what I mean, coming head and head. So Lakeland tried to beef up the schedule a little bit for you South Florida guys.
I'm not going to get down on them, you know what I mean? Listen, they're still smart.
I had to get them, man. I had to get them.
They're still smarting from that St. Thomas game, I'm sure. I can see your boy Polk play now. I can see your boy Polk play now. I mean, you know.
Yeah, man.
I had to console him on the sideline.
Nah, we want to get back at South Florida somehow. That belt to ass was not good. We still remember that.
Well, get Northwestern in the kickoff classic in Vero Beach.
Yeah, man. Oh, my goodness. Ooh, Larry keeps talking about Northwestern, the best looking team he done seen in a while. I see some highlights and stuff. I see
loaded.
They look crazy, Larry.
And they don't play a challenging schedule. That's the thing. So
they don't get too banged up. You know what I mean? Ooh,
Miami Central will be the game, and they should play them twice. Once during the regular season, which they lost last year, and then once to get to the playoffs. Because if you understand. Listen, All you have to do is go on Max
Yeah.
Preps and Google Northwestern's name and look what they did in the 5 games in the in the state. They
It was
outscored
all over social.
Dude, they outscored the 5 teams
Yeah.
342-12.
Man, that's South Florida crap, man. Hey, come on, Coach Calhoun, as you on the back, dog. Come on, man. We gotta tag team these South Florida guys sometimes, man.
Well, Coach Cal's a great guy. I have all the respect.
Yeah.
He knows I have all the respect for him.
Yeah. Nah,
I hope we
sure,
see him this year in Miami.
Yeah.
I definitely
I'm sure
do.
them Bokey boys want to get one of y'all in the headlock too. You know what I mean? Give one of y'all boys a noogie. You know what I mean? They play football up there. Really quick though, Larry.
They do. Well,
real quick.
Let's see what happens. I know.
Oh, go ahead.
Between them and Apopka and Lake Mary the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, Lake Mary. We'll talk about that too. That Lake Mary boys. I know you want to get back at them too, right? That close. You know what I mean? Solid year last year, but
no doubt.
Real quick, rankings talk, Larry. Any 27s, 26s, 28s? Any names that you want to throw out there really quick? Stock rises as we wind down, brother.
Well, there's a kid up at Nassau, the Callahan. It's up in the Panhandle. It's up near Jacksonville. His name is Clayton Lee. This kid's a big-time offensive lineman. I think he's got
heard that one yet. That's a new one for me, Larry. Clayton Lee.
6'7", 290. This kid's a big-time kid. He's going to Clemson. He's got a lot of opportunities to do special things. I saw you, kid Purdy from Lake Wales. He's a beast.
Purdy, man, crazy.
Yeah, he's really nice. The kid from Orlando, Jones, I don't think he gets a lot of credit. The Frederick Ards kid for 2027. He's an edge type of kid. I think he's going to be pretty special. Mecky Williams from Lennard, which is just a small area over there in Ruskin.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's over him as well. Certainly for 2027, we mentioned a couple of other kids. Tiari Miller is, I think you and I brought him up early. He was at last year Homestead, transferred in the offseason to Miami South Ridge. The Wild Wild West continues. He transferred yesterday to Miami Central. And
I see Central getting a lot of kids. What's going on, Larry? Come on now. I see the trend.
I don't want to leave out my West. I don't want to leave out my West Boca kids.
Yeah, West Boca like that.
Defending 6A state champions. They're going to be really, really good. But just before I leave, I think coming into the season, you got Chaminade in 1A. Obviously, Gadsden and Cocoa. And don't forget about Sarasota Cardinal Mooney in 2A because they're beefed. They got a big line.
Coach Peacock don't want to hear that. Coach Peacock don't want to hear that.
That's his alma mater, though. So, you know what?
I see him. I see it. I like it. I like the tension.
Got to show some love. 3A, obviously Northwestern. I don't know if anybody could touch them, really. Maybe Central. 4A, I think you're going to have that same rematch, Heritage and Orlando Jones. Coach Williams has done a great job. I think 5A, St. Thomas. It's up to you boys in Lakeland if you want to give some opposition this year. But I think Manatee down a little bit. Manatee down a little bit, Atlantic down a little bit. I think St. Thomas is going to be one of those top teams again. I think in 6A, Atlantic. Keep an eye on West Boca again, but Miami South Ridge. We saw Osceola last year. They kind of took a nosedive. Can they come back?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of good 6A teams in this state.
Shout out to my brother, Coach, man. Yeah.
No doubt. And then 7A, listen, Venice is going to be a team. I think that Miami, Palmetto, and Columbus and South, and I think Seminole and Lake Mary will battle it out.
Seminole, right? Look, Coach like to hear that. You see him? Coach like to hear that. You feel me? All
right, man.
Going to be wide open. All right, Larry. Hey, man. I can have you on here for an hour or two, brother. But hey, we got behind the playbook. We'll have you back on for sure because I want to talk about some more advice that you can give to some of these programs and coaches. Those that too, right? All right, brother. Let me get Coach on, man. It's good talking to you. We'll talk after this,
Drew.
brother. All right, yes, sir. Much love. You know it, brother.
Too.
Peace.
Bye.
Yes, sir. That's the GOAT, man. You already know that, guys. Hit the like button for Larry. He's been all over the place this spring, summer ball for you guys, right? For you programs and for you prospects. But next up, man, I got a behind the playbook special. My brother, we've been trying to make this thing here, right? The main man, one of the top programs in the Central Florida area. Head coach Carl Calhoun Jr., Seminole Bokey is in the building, man. Let's get him on. Welcome, coach.
What's going on,
What's
man?
up, brother? What's up, man?
Hey, long time coming.
I'm feeling good, brother. Feeling good.
We had to make.
Yeah. Well, you deserve this, man. Like I said, one of the better programs in the area, right? Churn out D1 prospects, but better yet, creates young men on and off the field. Positive young men, right? So let's talk about it, though, coach. New guest, right? So I always got to start off with this for the people, right, who don't know your full story. Give us the rundown on how your journey in football began, from being a 3-sport standout at Seminole to playing college ball at Virginia Union, and now leading the program where you once played for, man. How did that all shape the way you lead young men today? And just talk about that journey for the people watching, brother.
First of all, appreciate you having me on, man. It's a great show.
Yeah.
For a while, man. You had a lot of good.
Thank you, brother.
Love how you do it. Well, it started for me, man. Yeah. Homegrown, born in Sanford, Florida. Went to elementary, middle, high school. Got in trouble doing dumb stuff as a kid, playing around. The same city, man, that I walked around with, and to come back is such a blessing. Like I mentioned, played football here, basketball and weightlifting. Went on to Virginia Union, had a good career there. Began coaching at Huguenot High School in Richmond. That's where I got my first coaching gig at. And then 2021, man, Seminole had just won state, in 20. Lodge called me, man. They won state 19th. This man had me in his office December 23rd. Another one. So couldn't pass up opportunity to come back home, and then started off as the co-DC in my first year, DC the second year, and then the year became head coach, So it's been a crazy journey, but I'm definitely blessed to be in the position I am and to be surrounded by great people.
Hey, coach, talk about a little bit. You linebacker, you can tackle a little bit, coach. You can play a little bit.
Hey, man, I ain't gonna brag too much about myself. I was pretty good playing linebacker, man. Was all state, all conference, all those things in college. Played inside, outside. We'll get in that. The highlights on YouTube. You can go check that out.
There you go, coach. Hey, do me a favor, coach. Flip your camera real quick. I want you to look good. I want you to be full screen. Yep, just turn it. Yep, turn it. It should turn with you. There you go. Now, my boy. There you go. There we go.
All
right, coach. Real great breakdown, right? We wanted to hear the story for the. There you go. Perfect, right there. For the people that didn't know, right? Coach is still tackle one of y'all. Don't let him fool you.
Man, it's still in there. It's still in there.
Yeah. But talk about it, coach. Talk about your coaching philosophy, though, brother. Talk about some of the core values or lessons from your playing days that you kind of emphasize as a coach as you lead these young men on and off the field.
Well, I think it all starts. I believe core values starts off the field and then transition to on the field. And my thing, when you carry yourself, how you carry yourself is how you carry the program. So when you play at Seminole, when you go to school at Seminole, you represent Seminole, and I think it's a different love for me wearing these same colors. Coming back here, and it also starts, like I said, self-respect and understanding it. We got to march use ROU that we established when I got in here to mean it's only us.
There you go.
But it also mean it's on you. It's on you to do the right thing. It's on you to show up early, to hold the guys accountable. And the guys have really adapted to that philosophy. And we also implemented 1%. 1% better. Whatever you're doing, become better at it, and also do your 1%. A lot of times, young men and even grown men, we try to do too much. We try to hold too much plate. If you do your job and what's designated for you as a program, there's no telling what we can do. And that's trying to keep our values. That's why we've been successful and why we continue to try to be successful by upholding those values and cores with our program.
Man, I like that, brother. Like you said, it starts off the field, but even for young men and you grown men watching, one thing I got out of that was accountability, right? Be accountable for yourself, for you young man, right? It's going to transition from off the field to on the field. So
yes, sir.
I like that, brother. I like how y'all approach that. But I asked you this before we got on. Let's talk about that Bokey community, though, man. If you don't know, right, this is an invested community. I'm a Seminole, so I like to see, that arrow on the helmet, that black and orange pops out. But talk about the Seminole and just the community itself, from the administration down to the staff, man. How investment are these guys into the Bokey football program?
Well, if you coach, play, or around, Seminole football, you realize how astronomical it is in the city. I mean, the city games are packed. I mean, we got the national the dazzlers out there. We got the band out there. We got the cheerleaders, and it's a crazy atmosphere, man. If you ever we go to a game this year, man, you got to come out.
I got to, bro. I got to.
It's a different atmosphere, man. When people kind of going back, I mean, we even played Seminole, and back in 21. They first
that had to be.
It was great. It was 3 straight penalties because it was too loud. Couldn't snap the ball. You know, that's you get your haircut. Hear about the football game on Friday. You these kids start off in Pop Warner and play all the way through. So it's a
people
very
sleep on Central Florida, coach. It ain't no, you know what I mean? It ain't soft out there. You feel me?
No, none of that, man. It's very a community very invested, into the program, very invested in what we do, and it's very strong knit. The support staff on campus, great support. The coaches are locked in. It's just a great. Everybody loves Seminole football, and they make sure it's known.
Real quick though, side question, coach. Let's talk about. I start with the main man, right? It of course starts with the main man. Your head coaches, like I said, in the state of Florida, they deserve the spotlight. You guys are part mentors, part chefs, and sometimes taxis for these kids, right? Driving around, picking them up. Sometimes dads as well. Pull your pants up, young man. You know what I mean? But talk about the staff, right? Talk yourself and the staff, right? I like to talk about. It's important to have great men on the staff, right? Some of these guys be firefighters. Some of these guys are policemen, part-times, you know what I mean? So it's good to have role models on the staff that these kids can look up to. Talk about the importance of having great men around the football program.
You're absolutely right, man. First of all, the head coach, we on the posters, we everywhere know us, but no head coach can run a program individually.
Yes, sir.
Not just great coaches, but great men, because you want to put them around these kids. So obviously, I have about 26 coaches in the program, but I think when people look, we have JV and varsity. We have 3 programs.
Sir. Okay, there you go.
And we take all 3 very serious. So we have coaches designated for each one. My varsity DC, David Carney, he's excellent, super sharp.
There you go. There you go.
Especially with me, it's not easy giving him a baby on the defense, but this guy does it. He's alert, he's smart, he's attentive, and the kids love him. He does a great job.
There you go.
He had his first showing in Bartram Trail game and did a great job this spring.
Ooh, there we go.
My varsity OC, Anthony Gator. Guy came from Iowa. He's super sharp, man, and he really has his imprint on what we're doing. He has his imprint on what we want to do and getting there, and he's great for us. My assistant coach, Kyle Graff, just the guy. I mean, without him, he does everything from equipment to ordering it to setting it up to knowing the plays to getting kids right. He's just excellent. I could go down the line. Starting the end is my freshman coach, Robert Hampton. He's a fire chief. He's been a fire chief in Sanford. He's a homegrown Sanford guy. So to have him take over our freshman program is great. So a lot of terrific guys. I'm missing names, but all good guys and great to be around them.
Well, it starts, like you said, JV. We can't skip over JV, right? Because it starts in the youth program. That's where it starts at. That's what I feel like some areas are sleeping. Go ahead. I don't know if you want to touch on that. That's where it starts at, right, brother? The youth organization. So for you college coaches and you head coaches, build relationships or build back up those relationships in the grassroots. That's what we start seeing the young dogs, right? That young brother been a dog since Little League days, right? That's how it used to be, man. But go ahead, coach. Talk about that.
You're absolutely right, man. We do a great job of connecting with our youth programs. Coach Lorenz is over. He's the chief of Pop Warner. We're very communicative. Talk with him a lot. Adrian Fuller is the principal at Hamilton. He's over an organization with Pop Warner as well.
Wow.
Always let them know about our youth camps. I always invite them to our games. You got to keep it, man.
You got to.
And we emphasize that, every weekend we got at least 2 coaches at every game. We're doing that. And, you build that. You want to keep these kids where they're from and continue to build it. So very important.
Yeah. You know the dogs come from, coach. So you got to stay tapped in it. You know what I mean? You got to stay tapped into that water.
Got to keep them in the
got to, but let's talk about the season though. Last year, brother, you guys, like I mentioned, went 10-2 last year. Real solid year, pushing for a regional championship push. You know what I mean? But it's a new year and a new look, coach. New group that we'll talk about. But before we get into that, kind of walk us through the spring period. You know what I mean? How did that go for you guys? What did you kind of learn about this group, this new 2025 team going through the spring, through the summer period, coach?
Well, first of all, we went 10-2, but in our head, we feel like we went like 6-4. And I think it was I think it was just how we were as a program. I don't feel our culture was intact to how it needed to be. You know, I feel like it just wasn't. It didn't have that feel of what that Seminole football felt like. You know,
yes, sir.
10-2, you know, it's great. You know, looks good on paper, but in reality, we know we're better than that.
Keep it real, Coach. There you go.
And spring, I can honestly say, man, this was the most locked in spring since I've been head coach. And I think because this 26 class was special, they were undefeated on freshmen. A lot of those guys moved up early. So I think now you have that senior leadership, you know, because that's what started on the field with the kids leading the charge. And man, it was locked in. Everybody sprinting, everybody running, everybody communicating, you know, guys need to do. And I think they couldn't wait to put it on display in front of other colors. And when you look at from this fourth quarter, we up 28-7, you know, and guys still felt like we left points on the board, you know. So
there you go.
This culture, man, the guys was extremely locked in with what can I do to help the program and not what I can do to help myself. Because when you're helping the program, things for yourself gonna come, you know, and I think they realized that. So very, very, very excited. We got our run game back going. We wanted to get the ball going on the run again, and we got that going. And O-line is blocking, they behind off. We just feel real good about this great spring.
Man, hey, that was a bar, Coach. You know what I mean? You focus on the program and things that start working out for yourself, man. Throw off the 7v7 cape and the hat. Start worrying about the content, the social, the Instagram reels, and focus on how you can fit and better the program, man. You might got to be a boundary receiver where you got to block a little bit, chip a little bit.
There you
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? Your time will come.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man.
It's nothing bigger than the program. All right, Coach. Man. It's the elephant in the room, dog. I told Larry, hey, I ain't skipping over this one. I'm asking him. As we know, we'll talk about the roster. Y'all turn out the D1 prospects, but it's no secret, Coach. Clayton's gone. You know what I mean? He went down south. Let's talk about them down south guys, right? Oh, well, it's all good. Let's talk about you got somebody else, though, coming up. I've been seeing the content. I've been seeing the posts. He's been working a little bit. Who's next up to lead the team under center, Coach? Talk about it.
First of all, Mike, all love for Mike, you know, made the decision that he feels best for him and his future.
There you go.
And I'm happy for him. I wish him nothing but the best. As far as any kid that comes here, you know, that's them, and I wish him nothing but the best. Is that and everyone else.
Great stuff, Coach.
Transition. Our quarterback is Jason Williams. You know, y'all seen flashes of him last year. He's put on about 15 pounds since the season ended. His arm there. He's understanding the offense how we need to understand it. You know, he's embraced the role. He's embraced it. He may not look, when you look at him, he don't look like the quarterbacks we have in the past as far as the height, as far as the IQ, the mental stability. He's ready to do it. He's ready to take the charge. He had a good showing in the spring game. You know, had over 230 total yards on the ground and in the air.
So he a dual threat kid, right, Coach? If I'm not mistaken, he a dual threat. I remember when Clayton went down a couple times throughout the season. That was the kid that was in there.
That was
He kept the ball rolling. No, he
kept the ball going.
He know what the standard is. He know what it's supposed to look like, right? I'm thinking this somebody still wet behind the ears a little bit.
No, he
kid, come in and feel the role. There you go.
He will be a senior. He'll be a senior.
Okay. It's big time now.
He's a homegrown kid, you know, Sanford, Florida kid, and I think he's gonna shock a lot of people this year and do a lot of big things. And I think we believe in him, the team believe in him, and we're ready to make a run this year.
Well, he doesn't have to come in and learn the playbook and make sure the guys know who he is. You know, he could be a leader, right? That's gonna be number one. So guys can follow his lead. So that'll be big time. I bet he might have missed that last year. Might have been good, show some flashes, but now you're the leader in the locker room. So that'll be big for you, young man, if you're listening. So it's time. Senior year, it's ready to go. So perform on the football field.
He's ready for the moment. We got
ready. He's ready
for the moment. He's ready.
So what we can expect? What a little RPO, little zone read from them Bokey boys. I don't want to give too much.
Hey man, you've been watching, man. We definitely we definitely gonna use them to our advantage. That's all I'm
keep
gonna say.
Keep it on the route. So that's all you gotta say. That's all you gotta say.
We're gonna be very multiple, very versatile, and you just gotta tune in.
Hey, I'm gonna try to get up there. Coach got me ready to put on that Bokey helmet, dog.
Hey, we're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you
there. That's love, Coach. Real quick though, man. As I said, outside that QB room, you still got some guys, right? Would you lose? You eat the Pritchards, you know what I mean? Juwan Birchall's, you know what I mean? Really solid kids in the program, but even the Devin Voltaire kid, who I really like, a real stock riser, right? Trusted in the process. But talk about some of these kids that's flashed throughout the spring, maybe flashed through the summer period that you guys in the coaching room are talking about. Like, hey man, this kid might be legit for us. Who should we have eyes on? Some of these college coaches that's watching. Who should they have circle, coach?
Perfect. I'll start on the offensive side of the ball. I'll start up front because it all start up front. Ashad Bosch, 10,
6'5",
tackle,
310.
310 tackle. He is a monster. He's got some stuff going for him. Only his third year playing football.
Already I love them type of kids.
He played opposite. He played guard last year. We moved him back to tackle.
Okay.
So he can play both.
Okay.
He'll be a name to watch. Our leader receiver, Anthony Gay, the third, little guy in the slot. He'll be in the back.
Gadget piece, coach.
He's just super smart with IQ, catches everything. Just a hell of a player. He's gonna be good for us. Running back. This is a guy that he always been around, but he was a little guy that kind of got looked over. But now he's ready to go put up over 100 yards in the spring game. Deshaun Watkins, gonna wear numbers this year. Very, very smooth. You put his film on, he's shaking people out their draws, and he getting
electric.
He's electric.
There you go.
And then obviously more guys, but obviously we talk about the quarterback. Jason Williams, like I mentioned, versatile, going to be a quick game demon, get the ball out of his hands, and he's going to be really good.
Is the Turner kid still there, coach?
Oh, I'm going to the defense. You're going to talk about the defense.
Hey, my bad. I'm jumping the gun. I'm jumping the gun. There you go. I know he was big time, though. Yeah.
Big time. He is our unanimous captain. He received he was a captain as a junior and then came back as a junior captain and came back this year. Over 100 tackles last year. Coming back this year, healthy, feeling good. He's our anchor.
That's Rasheem Turner for any coaches that's watching. Rasheem Turner will be a senior this year. Junior, his pops the coach. Leading tackler.
Great.
Leading tackler.
Jalen Chaplin, our nickel safety, about 6 foot 200, 10'9" in the physical.
Track kid too, linebacker.
Fast, strong, great player for us.
There you go.
Terrence Thompson Jr. going to be a 3-year starter of our edge. 6'1", 230. He's coming off the edge. He had 8 sacks last year. Looking to get double digits.
Double digit sack, yes sir.
Last one I'll mention. We got a couple more. Amari Griffin, our safety.
Amari Griffin,
4.4 speed, 330-pound bench. 5'10", 185. He's a guy. He's good, and and both our corners,
measurables.
RJ Hampton, a rising junior, going to be excellent. Already got power.
Heard that name. Good. That's the Hampton kid, right? Pops.
Yes.
It's in the genes for him. Okay.
In the genes. And then Keelan Davis, our other corner, been a steady, alert, and he's very smooth and doesn't make mistakes. And our defense is very seasoned this year, so we'll be happy.
I'm about to say, you got 2 lockdown corners, a safety that's benching over 300 pounds, and a linebacker that's running the 10-9. What's going on with athleticism, man? That's the Bokey boys, though, man. It's only right, man. It's only right. All right, coach, real quick, let's ruffle some feathers, though, man. I saw your tweet, though. You said, if it's 53 teams better than us, then why is it so hard to schedule games? As me and Larry was just talking about that. You really feel this squad is in the top 50, coach?
I usually stay off social media. I read a lot. I just don't say much. But
ain't nothing wrong with coming out a little bit sometimes, coach.
When I look at Max Preps, man, and it's just hard for me to say, looking at it, that 50 teams are better than us in the state of Florida. I just don't see it. And it's been kind of continuous with Max Preps. I don't feel like we get the respect we deserve. I mean, we're 93-16. Right. And it's like we get it from Florida. We get it. Larry understands, but it's like Max Preps. For sure. I don't get it. So I had to let
That's
it
what
know.
Me and Larry say, coach. We
salute
to the other recruiting service. I ain't got no hate in my blood. You Max Preps 247 rivals, but I ain't seen a lot of Max Preps t-shirts at some of these games. You know what I mean? I'm just being real, coach. I ain't seen a lot of Max Preps t-shirts around at practices, games, spring showcase. You know what I mean? Salute to them, though. It's the best. It's the best site. You can go in and put your stats in and stuff to be evaluated and stuff like that. Ain't no hating, but
Definitely.
And we got to see some of y'all boots on the ground before y'all start doing these rankings. It's a lot of Twitter sites too that pop up.
Ask the coaches in Florida who they think, and I confidently, not saying that I'm proud of our program, but I don't think that team's gonna have us outside the top 30.
Hey, that'll be legit. If we do a questionnaire, like a coach's top 50, you know what I mean? Yeah. That might be something nice, Coach. I like that.
Then you'll
know.
Then you'll know.
You just gave me something to work with. We do a questionnaire, a prep red zone questionnaire for the coaches, a power ranking. That'll be nice.
Hey, they know. Hey,
coaches know. You feel me? And if they don't know, they hating. So we want to see who hating, dog. Much love to my Florida coaches, man.
Got to,
all right,
man.
Coach, real quick, man. Before we get into a little fun, man, I have this first time on, Coach. I want to have you back on, so we just get your feet wet a little bit for the people. Doing a great job, well spoken. But real quick, final question, man. What can people expect? You know what I mean? What's the identity going to be from this team? You go through spring, you get through the summer period. You got your Bokey community, man. That's going to be showing up to these games. What can they expect from this kind of new look Bokey football team as we get closer to the fall?
You can expect the pride, man. You can expect that culture. Ooh. You can expect really, really these kids loving putting on that orange and black. You can expect physicality. You can expect blocking to the whistle, like running after the football. And one thing I think you're going to expect a lot of more discipline within the football.
Yeah.
So I think
get back to the roots,
the false starts, and the little things that set us back. You're going to see a team that love putting that jersey on and go do everything they can to get a win. That's what you're going to see this year.
Man. Love it, man. Well, I'm sure y'all got Lake Berry on the schedule. I'm sure y'all got to, right?
So every year they in our district.
Every year, right?
Every year.
That's got to be the one circle, man. I'm looking at the schedule from last year. That's got to be the one circle. So
those guys obviously always a great battle right down the road.
Yeah.
Jones again for kickoff classic at Camping World.
Yeah. Oh, y'all got my Lake Wells. Y'all got Lake Wells. Y'all beat Lake Wells.
Yeah.
I remember that game like it was. I remember they went all the way up there last year. So yeah. It was tough last year. That don't can't swipe over that 10-2.
Got a schedule.
I see some teams on here.
Oh yeah, Monarch. We got Creekside.
I got Lake Brantley again. Lake Brantley done tried to beef up a little bit. So I might gotta get up to one of them. I might gotta get up that Lake Brantley game. That might be the one, Coach.
Hey, Lake Brantley
might be the one.
Got a great quarterback. They'll be
They'll be much. They done moved over some stuff a little bit, so I'll let my boys over there though. So shout out to them. But all right, Coach, let's have some fun real quick as we close out.
Okay.
I got Drew's fast five for you. I got 5 quick questions, man, so the people can get inside your brand a little bit. Let's head down a little bit. You know what I mean? Who's coach off the field? Y'all are human beings. You know what I mean?
Yes,
but all right, Coach. First question. Who was the first athlete that made you fall in love with sports? Like who's your favorite athlete, Coach?
Man, if you see my leg, you will understand. I got the Kobe tat. It was Kobe Bryant, man.
I knew you was a good dude. I knew you was a good dude, Coach.
I went to a basketball game in 1997, man. I went to the Magic and Kobe, the Lakers was in town, man. It was a young Kobe, and ever since then I've been rocking with him. So that's my favorite.
Black Mamba.
Yeah, the Black Mamba.
I was a hooper too, so that's just a man, right? That's a man's man that I could look up to. Don't play the radio, discipline. So Kobe's always been my guy, man. But
yes, sir.
All right, Coach. What's your post-game, post-camp, post-practice? I don't know, man. What's your go-to meal? What's Coach like to eat on? Yeah.
Hey, man, give me that grilled chicken wrap, man. If it's right after practice, I love grilled chicken. My wife gets me to be more healthy. So her wife gets me a little more healthy. So, she'll get it right.
Blessed, so, brother. There you go.
Grilled chicken, wrap. That's my type of vibe.
There you go, man. And you got wifey cooking it up. Ain't got to go out and buy it nowhere. Come home, wifey cook it up. Good to go. I like it.
It's good to go. That's the go.
Hey, man, shouts out to the coaches' wives, man. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard.
Yes.
All right, Coach. All right. This is going to give us insight who you like, what teams you like and stuff. But if you could teleport to any stadium for a day or night game, man, where are you going? What stadium you going to? And who's playing, man? Dream matchup type deal.
Well, I'm a Falcon fan, man. So you got to put me in Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, man, you like my dog, man. One of my best friends.
Give me a Sunday night. Give me a Sunday night. A Mercedes-Benz is rocking. Put me over there in the matchup. It don't matter, man. As long as somebody playing the Falcons.
It don't matter, dog.
This the year. Hey, this the year. This the year. This the
Hey,
year.
man. Hey, you a dirty bird. So, hey, I like Kobe. I'm a Tom Brady guy. So, I remember that game.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah. That
There
comeback of the century, baby. My dog was sitting right next to me. So, that's what's up, though.
That's the guy.
All right, coach. Let's head down a little bit. You got 24 hours, dog. You know, woke up in the morning, you got unlimited resources, bank account unlimited, no responsibilities, dog. What you buying, coach, and how you spending your day, brother?
Oh man, 24 hours.
Ooh, unlimited cash. Bread is up.
Man, I'm gonna go ahead before I leave out the country. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a facility for Seminole. We need a big facility.
Hey, there you go.
I'm gonna go ahead and put it up there. I'm taking my family, and we about to whatever country we want to go to, and we're just gonna lay back.
Okay, wifey, the kids going out. We're going out of the country.
Yeah, out the country and just unwind and unleash. I don't want to move a finger. I just want y'all to take care of everything and make sure we good.
What you doing, coach? You going to the beach? You going to the waters? You going to the mountains? What you like? What type of getaway you like?
Hey, I'm a water guy, man. You can drop me off at
all right, okay.
Italy,
something like that.
Put me in Aruba, put me on the beach.
That too. There you go.
We good to
go. To West Africa, you can go anywhere like that. You know what I mean? Go on the coast.
Woo. I'm vibing. We vibing. Hey, I want to drink straight slushies on the beach.
All right, man. What? Non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic, of course.
Love, coach. All right, brother. All right. If you weren't coaching sports, man, what would you be doing? What does coach like to do outside of sports, brother?
Well, obviously, I'll be doing what you're doing, man. I went to school for
media. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
I wanted to work with ESPN. I had an internship with ESPN, so I love talking sports. I love debating sports. So
I can see it. Well spoken, brother.
That's what I mean. What you're doing is what I would be doing if I didn't coach sports.
Man, but coaching it might not be there forever. So, you know, if you want to come through the back door, you know what I mean, I'll leave it open for you. You feel me?
Hey, man, I think we'll make a heck of a team.
Oh, yeah, come on, dog. No, that's what I like. We can bounce off each other. You feel me? And at Polk County, Central Florida, we already got that vibe. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Got that chip on our shoulder. But,
yes, sir.
Man, if y'all been listening to this, my dog right here, man, I've been wanting to make this happen. I knew it would be big time. I knew the chemistry would be there. You feel me? 2 dogs in the building. But I had to have Coach pull up on us for y'all tonight, man.
Sir.
You and your staff, brother, for real, though. Hats off to y'all. Y'all doing a great job, you know what I mean? Shout out to my dog, Coach Gay, as well. I see him throughout the 7B circuits, them Bokey boys. When y'all pull up, ain't nothing to play with, you feel me?
Yes,
so
sir.
I respect you guys, as I said. Not just building football players, but great young men on and off the field. I'm big on that, you know what I mean? Especially in our community. So it's very important to me to give these coaches the spotlight. That's why I got the behind the playbook. It's cool with the playbook, but what are these coaches doing behind the playbook? Who's the man behind the playbook? And you got a great one right here. So, Coach,
I
appreciate you for giving us your time, brother. This will be a good one, you know what I mean? For the Seminole Bokey community, for your players, you know what I mean? Tag you guys up. Much deserved, you know what I mean? I got to get out to a game, too. You feel me?
Hey, man. So we're going to make it happen.
Maybe wifey can have us something to eat on, some of that chicken.
Some, you know what I'm saying? Get right.
I got to, brother. I got to.
Drew.
Yeah.
Great show. Thank you for having me, man. Really appreciate you. Do a great job. And let me know anytime we got to do it again. Man. For sure.
For sure. No, much love. We'll have you back on for sure, Coach. Maybe before the fall or throughout the season, give the people an update on how the Bokey boys are doing. But I really hope you enjoyed the show tonight, Coach, for real, man. We'll talk after this.
Definitely.
You feel me, brother?
Great, man. I appreciate it.
I got you, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, much love, Coach. All love, brother, for real.
Yes, sir, man. You be
good stuff, brother. Man, you too, brother. Peace.
Yep.
Good brother right there, man. Damn, that was good. That was a good one right there, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that one. And wanting to have him on, man. That, as I said, our coaches deserve it. Any other watching right now, much love to you guys, man. But all right, I kind of want to talk about the Bartow shootout, but I feel like my Wi-Fi is lagging a little bit. So I'm gonna cut it short here, guys. Much love to my guy, or to my brother, right? Larry Blustein had him on to talk about where's he been throughout the spring and the summer. He's been everywhere, man. He's been so many places. You got to give him respect, man. And my brother, right, Coach Carl Calhoun Jr., from Seminole Bokey boys, man. It's much respect to him. As I said, it's much respect to all my Florida coaches, man. Underappreciated. Any politicians listening, man, you got to get it right because football does so much for our communities, man, for our young men off the field, creating, you know what I mean, gladiators on the field, but discipline, you know what I mean, well, young fathers off the field. So it's so important to me. I'm lagging, guys. I'm sorry, but I hope I didn't lag throughout the show. Much love to you guys. It starts with you. Shouts out to all my sponsors, Taste One, Quench, the D2O fam. Man, much love, guys. Hopefully we get Celsius. Y'all be nice. But for real, man, y'all hit that like button. Cash App's in the thing. Nah, I'm just playing, man. Much love to y'all. Peace, man. We'll be back hopefully Thursday.